may I know, can I get a brief introduction from any one of you about yourself? Like, where are you from and what are you expecting from this course and why you want to choose this course? A little brief introduction, not much, not a full length introduction. Yeah, Abhijit, you can start from your intro.
వీడియో రావట్లేదా?
Am I audible? Are you able to hear me? Would anybody respond? Am I audible to you?
Yeah, you're audible.
Okay. Can you please introduce yourself? Srikanth? Or Shalini?
Hi, ma'am. This is Neha here.
Yeah, Neha, please continue.
Yeah, hi, ma'am. Actually, I'm Neha. I'm from Bangalore. So I took this course because I have a three. I took the career break, and it's almost three years that I have last worked. So just to brush up like what I did. So that's why I'm attending this course.
Okay. Madhavi, can you introduce yourself? Yeah, Shalini, please continue. Please.
Hello, ma'am. I'm Shalini. I'm joining this course to know about in detail the LIMS system.
Okay.
I have 4-year experience in teaching.
Okay. Good. Yes, Madhavi.
Hi, ma'am. I am Madhavi. I have an experience in R&D. For the last 2-3 years, I was not working to improve my
To
career.
take a break. Okay. Oh, yeah. Good. Rupesh? Are you there? Please raise. You can raise your hand. Unmute yourself first. Ruchita, are you there? Okay. Fine, then I'm your LIMS trainer. For this end user LIMS, today we're going to take the demo. This will be like an introduction for you. And we'll move in detail in the further sessions. I'll share my screen. Let me know if my screen is visible to you. Is my screen visible to all of you?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay.
Ma'am, I have one question.
Please.
This link I can't open in a laptop. I couldn't open it.
You couldn't open this link.
Yeah,
I mean, like the sessions link.
yeah, this session link. Yeah,
Why?
I don't know.
Is it only you or anybody is facing the same issue? Is anybody facing the same issue that you are unable to log in through your PCs with this link?
No.
Yeah, we'll see.
Okay.
We'll speak with company connect people why it is happening to you.
Okay, thank you.
Once you can speak with him, you have that contact with you, right?
Yeah, I have.
Okay, please speak to them.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much.
Okay. Yeah. So this is like a demo for you all. So the actual sessions will start from tomorrow. So I'll just quickly take you through this, what you are going to cover in this course. So you might have all received your brochure, right? From Company Connect. Did you receive the brochure? What we are going to cover in this course from the team?
No.
Yes, receive.
We got a WhatsApp message only, but I did
Okay.
not get any brochure as such.
Yeah, you will not get any hard copies as such.
No,
Yeah, even
not
the
hard copy. I'm talking about this one only, but there is no brochure or anything. What all will be covered is not something that we received.
okay, fine.
At least
Fine.
not me.
Okay.
Yeah, if you
Okay,
have
fine.
that, if you could circulate in the Teams, that would be helpful.
Yeah, I'll take you through that also in this session. Not a problem. So okay, first we'll go through the demo first. So these are the modules that we are going to cover in this course. So there will be around like 12 modules, which I'm going to cover in this course. So first module is like LIMS functionality and technology. This will cover the basic details about the LIMS. The second module will be, I'm just superficially taking you through all these modules. The details and the actual process, I will explain you in detail in the coming sessions, okay? You need not to worry about what are these. You might be first time looking into these LIMS, right? Is anybody is previously experienced in LIMS? Did anyone handle the LIMS earlier?
Yes, I have handled.
Okay.
Yes, even I have handled.
Okay, at what level?
I'm a business analyst for LIMS product in our company.
Okay, good. You and another one?
Uh, I I was in QA for that data review.
Okay. Data review means you like a master creation, master data creation?
No, just the analytical data review.
Okay, good. Okay. So, okay, fine then. So these are the modules that I'm going to cover in this course. That I already told you about the module 1. This the module 2 is defining business requirements for LIMS, like how you prepare the user requirement specifications. That will be part of the initiation phase. Third module will be the good practice approach for LIMS validation. This will cover the ERES readiness and everything. Does anybody know what is ERES?
No.
Okay. Okay, fine then. ERES, I'm just giving a brief.
Electronic record,
Yes,
electronic signature.
yes, electronic records and electronic signatures, you are right. So this is a mandatory requirement. Okay, this is because the LIMS we are mostly are going to use in the regulated industries. So you need to make this assessment. Not only for LIMS, for in any software. Nowadays it is important. Okay, this will be part of the initiation phase itself. Then comes module 4, which is validation lifecycle approach through GXP computerized systems. How we are going to validate the system, particularly LIMS, I'll cover. Then comes to the module 5, the suitable vendor or supplier and application selection. How you are going to select the LIMS vendor, because there are so many vendors and suppliers in the market. Out of them, how you are going to select the suppliers? This I will cover in this module. The sixth module will be validation planning. Like there will be so much of documentation in this. Through V model. Specifically, I'm going to cover in this the V model. There will be different approaches for this validation. Like you can do it by V model, we can do it by Agile. There are so many methods, 2 to 3 methods that we can validate the software. So I'm going to take you through the V model approach. And what are the documents that are required in this validation planning, I will let you know. And the module 7 will be application development and environment details. What are the different environments that we have while implementing the LIMS? In this module, I will cover this. It will include build, configure, and design phase, we call it. In this phase, how the application will be developed. Mostly nowadays, people have different requirements. So that according to that, people may go for a development or they go for a already configured product. If in case it is a development, what and all will be required, I will let you know. And then what are the different environments that are there that will be there while implementing the LIMS, I will explain you in this module. Module is testing of LIMS systems like IQ, OQ, PQ, UAT testing, verification and reporting phase. You might already know, you since few people are from a pharma background, if I'm not wrong. So they might already know about IQ, OQ, PQ. Yes, right? Are you involved in this? Anybody?
Yes, yes, I know.
No, not particularly.
Not particularly, okay. Yeah, as a business analyst, maybe you are more focused on the specification gatherings, right?
That is correct, yes. It was more
Okay.
mostly into genetic testing labs.
Okay, okay. Good. So the 9th module will be LIMS validation summary report. So after the successful completion of the validation, we will prepare a validation summary report. How we will do it, and I will explain you in this module. That will be a reporting phase. There will be different phases in the application implementation. In a application means the software implementation in a particular company or a particular environment. So these are the different phases like initiation phase, operational phase, reporting phase. Okay. So I'll take you through all these phases. What are the documents that are going to involve, and what are the process, how we have to validate a software. I will teach you in this course. The 10th module will be go live and cutover strategy report, SOP training, and master data migration. This will be covered in the operational phase. And module 11 will be hypercare for end users from LIMS core team and business continuity plan. This will be also a part of operational phase. And the last module will be system retirement phase. Okay. So I think I'm clear about the modules that we are going to cover in this course. And mostly this is what that will be mentioned in our brochure. Okay. So before going into the actual LIMS end user training, I just want to give you a brief introduction on the history of the LIMS. So if you see that we know that people who are working in the pharma or in the clinical or in the pharmacovigilance field, they might know how we used to conduct our activities in our labs before 20 years or like 15 years, right? It's like there are so many paper-based documents, there are so many, files, there are so many folders to manage the data, right? Everything will be on the paper. Everything has to be like handwritten, right? So there were no software that can manage the laboratory information efficiently. Everything is manual. Can anybody tell me what is the drawback with the manual system?
Traceability. Oh,
Yes, good. And
tracking would be a problem where if the paper goes missing, then
yeah,
it will be difficult to trace back.
yeah, right. How
Chances
and
of DA issues,
chances of?
data integrity issues,
Yeah, right.
changing of pages.
Yes, which is a huge topic nowadays, right? data integrity. Yes.
So the archival and retrieval of data is difficult.
Yes, that is like comes under traceability itself. Yes, you are right. You are right. Yes, these are all right. And mainly errors, human errors, while writing, while storing, while doing your activity, it and managing the data. You prone to do errors, right? Being a human, it is very natural to do errors. But these errors may cost you a lot during the regulatory inspections. Okay, am I right or not?
Yes.
Yeah. So that was the scenario which used to be there around 1980s. So post 1980s, so there is a little improvement in the laboratory data management. Like we have like expensive handheld calculators. Before that, we used to like big like slide rule calculators, like something like those are like analog calculators. No. Later on that we come to little like sophisticated digital calculators, wherein you can calculate little faster. You can manage the data. You cannot manage the data, but you can calculate little faster. Sorry, just slipped to another slide. So because of this, there is a little sophisticated software and programs for data crunching and sample tracking that are difficult to us. First rudimentary commercial LIMS available around 1980s to 1990s was it became available for us. Large bond books still common. Still the data is managed in the large bond books only between 1980 to 1990. Basic word processing and reports are available during 1980s to 1990s. There is still a lot more to develop, lot more to improve, but still there is little improvement when you compared when you compared with 1980s. After that, there is further improvement between 1990s to 1999, because if you see there is a decade of time. It is not developed in a single year or a single little time. It takes time, but after that, what has happened? Personal computers and software databases made programming and documentation easier. So it's an era where you started using personal computers and the software databases are also available. We improved a lot when you compared to the earlier era. Then LIMS moved from mini computers to PCs, right? Earlier, there is only a rudimentary commercial LIMS was available. From that, we have moved to from mini computers to personal computers. Okay. So after that, different software systems spoke different languages, creating communication issues. But what is the challenge that we faced here? Because we have different systems, right? Not only the LIMS, but LIMS has to communicate with other systems, but that other systems has been built on different languages. So we have these LIMS have to communicate with the other systems, but we have a difficulty in this communication of the LIMS with the other systems. This was the major issue that we used to observe during 1990s. Direct instrument uploads developed. Analytical reports evolved from ground mail to overnight deliveries to fax to email, PDFs, and electronic files. So it made the life bit easier for us to while in managing the data, because all those electrical reports which used to be maintained as a paper document, so now they are converted into PDFs and we can easily maintain in their electronic files as a form of electronic files. Okay. Then from 1990s to we moved to the 21st century, where a full-scale laboratory information management system is available for us to manage our data, not only in managing the only the data, we can exchange the data with other systems also. Field sample barcoding and location ID via GPS is also possible in this. Field sample barcoding. Does anybody know what is field sample barcoding? Because yeah. Okay. Mostly this field sample barcoding is like LIMS is not only used in the pharmaceutical industry but also in the clinical industry. Okay. So in clinical industry, you'll have so many sample collections. So that sample connection, you can actually barcode it, and that barcode you can scan it to the LIMS for the traceability. The one of the major issues that we face earlier in the earlier era is traceability. Am I right? So to reduce that traceability error, so we have field sample barcoding. So we can trace the sample by the barcoding, and we can do it by using the LIMS. Though the sophistication has been improved a lot. If you see from 1980s to 21st century, this is how the LIMS has been evolved through all these centuries. Okay, the data users facilitated and expanded. Exposure assessment and data management has been improved. Industry-wide reports by job functions. You can generate reports based on the job functions industry-wide, whether it is clinical industry, pharmaceutical industry, or pharmacovigilance, or some other industry, like food and processing industries. They can generate the job reports very easily by using these links. Comparison to historical data. You can compare the current data with the historical data. Like you can generate the trend charts, trend reports. You can compare our current analysis with the previous analysis very easily, which would be a very difficult situation if you don't have the LIMS in your laboratory, because everything will be maintained in a paper-based system, and you have to go and collect all the systems, which would be very difficult. Okay, am I clear up to this part? If you have any queries, you can ask me, or else you can park your questions so that we can clarify at the end of the session also. Either one you can select. Am I clear?
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am. Yes.
Thank you. So first thing is like, what is LIMS? Can anybody tell me?
Laboratory Information Management System.
Yeah. That is that. Yeah, that is the abbreviation, right? You are right.
So basically, we want to record all the actions that happens in the lab, right from sample reception all the way to result delivery. To keep the track of that, we want the LIMS.
Exactly. Yes, you are right. So what is LIMS and why it is useful in the regulatory industries? LIMS allows us to efficiently manage samples and associated data to improve lab efficiency. As you people earlier said, like there are issues like data integrity, traceability issues, and data management issues, right? Earlier, so LIMS help us to uh, improve our lab efficiency by managing the sample information effectively. Okay, so it will automate the workflows, integrate instruments, and manage samples and associated information. So how it automate the workflows? Because different laboratories has different workflows. Okay, your QC lab or your clinical lab will work in a different has a different workflow. So we can automate all the workflows through these LIMS, and we can integrate other systems, other instruments. Like for suppose you have a balance, you have a HPLC, or else you have for suppose ICP-MS instrument. So you can integrate all those instruments with these LIMS, and then you can manage the samples and the associated information in the LIMS itself. So you can easily track and trace all the information, where and what happened, where happened, and who did that. Everything will be traceable through LIMS. So again, it will ease the work in the lab, and it will improve the lab efficiency. LIMS produce accurate, reproducible results faster and more reliable. So everything will be in the LIMS. So it will generate and produce the accurate and reproducible results, and within a click you can get all the data, all the information. So it saves our time, and it is faster than the manually going and tracking and tracing your documents. So you can rely more on these LIMS also, because every activity and every record is stored, and every activity is audit trailed. So you can reliable. There is no, you cannot breach anything in the LIMS which is stored. Even though if you try to breach also, it will get recorded. Mostly you will, there will not be any option to breach their information, because all the securities will be placed while doing the validation. That's why you can rely on the system more. Then It makes the data from sequencing runs easier to store, track, and assess over time and across experiments. This is what I told you. It will help us to track and assess all the information over the time and across the experiments. From any, there will be n number of experiments, n number of instruments will be there in your lab. So the all the information can be stored, tracked, and assessed at any given time by using these LIMS. That's why it is very important that regulatory industry evaluate and improve operational efficiency. As we already discussed, it will save the time, it will improve your reporting, it will improve your management, data management capacity in your lab. So obviously it will all improve your operational efficiency in your lab. So if you look into the below diagrams, I can show you like LIMS. Here like LIMS is connected to all these systems, right? Like this is like we call it like if you LIMS can be directly integrated with the laboratory equipment, it can be integrated with the ERP systems like SAP, one ERP, like okay, it can be integrated to the information management systems which is related to the IT, accounting systems which we do for the managing their finances and everything. So it will all make your life easy, because it will manage the information so efficiently that we can rely on this system without any doubt. And it will also manage your laboratory management, all the data. It will store everything in very perfectly as per the given workflows. If you see this, LIMS has so many contents because LIMS has been widely used in so many industries. So it has different contents like customers, collection sites, preservatives, analysis methods, employees' passwords, test and test results, bottle types, sample metrics. Customers is like I show you like there are finances, right? So we'll be having different customers, not only finances. Like if you take about the clinical industry, so there will be different customers to that clinical industry. It will store all the customers' data. Collection sites, there will be multiple collection sites to collect the sample. It will store the collection sites data also. There will be preservatives in your lab. It will store all the preservative data. Analytical methods, what method you should use for doing a particular analysis, it will also store in this. Employees data and passwords. Passwords will be stored, but it will not show you because password should be unique for every user. Test and test results. Obviously, when you do the analysis, all the test and test results data will be stored in the LIMS itself. Bottle types. If you see the bottle types, what are the bottle types? Can anyone tell me? Can anybody tell me what is the bottle type?
Are we talking about tubes, vials, or those things?
Yeah.
It could be
For
plates.
collection of samples, we use different types of bottles, okay?
Yeah. Vials, for example.
Yeah.
Tubes.
Yeah. Sorry. We collect the samples in different types of bottle so that we can manage the sample efficiently in our laboratory. So it will have all the details related to that bottle types. And we have different sample matrices also. It will have all the sample matrix information. It's in the LIMS. It also includes sample tracking, because as you earlier said, it will track all the sample from the day of reception to the disposition or release of the COA. You can track each and everything, where the sample is, to whom it is, and where the work is allocated, and who is working on the sample, whether the sample is sample is analyzed or not, whether the result is according to the specification or not, whether it is the obtained result is approved or not, or still it is pending for the approval or not. You can track everything in the sample tracking. Sophisticated query searching, because we have a feature called query searching. We can query in the LIMS and you can get the required information in the LIMS. And then come the instrument integration. You can integrate the LIMS with multiple instruments so that it makes your life easy by obtaining the information from that instrument directly into the LIMS, so that you need not to maintain any paper records like prints. You used to get, if you go into the normal laboratory, pharmaceutical laboratory, what you used to do? Earlier, you used to take the prints from the balances or from the instruments, and you need to sign on it, to stick onto the your data report, isn't it or not? Right?
Yes.
So you need not to do such things with these LIMS because if it is integrated to your balance, the balance can directly transfer that value into the LIMS, so that it will be helpful for you and it will be very helpful to digitalize your lab without paper. You can remove paper from your lab if you implement these LIMS, because it is so effective that it keeps the information in such a way that you can easily access to that information. And it has very powerful reporting tools. You can create very good reports by using these LIMS, like something like COA. If you see that some one of you said like they involved in the data review and the COAs also, COA release also, then it can create good reports, not only COAs but also 10 reports. You can create so many 10 reports, investigation reports. There are so many features in this to create powerful reporting. Then the functionality, that is a functionality it has. Then parameters, we have different parameters while testing that sample. So all the parameters which are required for the testing of the samples are stored in these LIMS. Then we have for the parameters, while applying these parameters, we have control limits also. By applying that parameters, we will analyze the sample and we will get a result. That result is meeting these control limits or not, we need to see. So that's why you can store all the control limits in the LIMS. After that, we have integrated barcoding. We can integrate the LIMS with the barcoding so that it can scan the barcode on your sample and see whether that sample is actually eligible for the analysis or not, whether it is within the expiry or not, whether it is the right sample to do the analysis or not. Because a single barcode can handle so much of information, and if you scan that barcode, if you integrate the LIMS with this barcode scanner and then you scan it, it will fetch all the information so that you can receive the samples into your system. Then integrated QA QC functions. With this, we can integrate all the QC and QC functions, which are two domains in the pharmaceutical industries. QC functions are different and QA functions are different. But by using this LIMS, we can actually integrate both the functions. Like QC persons will do their activity, and from then the QA persons can take over the activity for the approvals and release of the batches or the samples. And as I said earlier, it is fully audit trailed, because who done the activity, where it was done, when it was done, what was done, everything is completely tracked and traced in this audit trail. So no one can breach your data. No one can say that it is not done by me, because everything is track and traceable. It by this it is there is less chances of data integrity breach. Then we have enterprise system integration. Like enterprise system integration, can anybody say what it is? Okay. Enterprise system integration, as I said earlier, it can integrate with enterprise systems like ERP or SAP, you call it SAP. You can integrate with this also, and then you can efficiently manage your data. And here comes how LIMS works. How LIMS works in your laboratory. By using LIMS in your lab, you can automate workflows, integrate instruments, and manage samples and associated information. Okay. So how it works? It works from the registration of the data. Before that, registration that sample, sorry, I said data, but it is sample. From the registration of the sample, before registration of the sample, we need to make available the masters and the workflows, because different laboratories follow different workflows. The XYZ company, if you take, the X company will follow a certain workflow. The B company will follow a certain workflow, right? Because my company will follow my procedures, your company will follow your procedure. There is no necessity that both the companies should follow the same workflow. Depending on the requirement, depending on the business requirement, you follow the workflows, right? Am I right or not?
Yes.
Okay. So first we have to create our workflows, like how we are actually manually following that sample receipt, sample registration, and sample analysis. We have to automate this workflow in the LIMS. Like while automating, we have to create the master data. Like what master data involves so many object creations. We have to create all your specifications. You have to create all your requirements, everything, like calculations, formulas, your pass and fail results, everything you create, whatever the requirements to do the analysis, you will create in the master data. I'll take you through this master data creation in the coming sessions also in detail. First, you will do the planning, like organization in your organization, how your workflow is going to happen, how your sample and is going to analyze from the receipt to the disposition. You need to plan. Then the roles and rights. You need to assign the required roles and rights to the responsible people into the LIMS. Then it goes for the test parameters and methods. You create all the test parameters and methods in the LIMS. Then what are the sampling points, like we have multiple sampling points, right? If somebody work on like stability, they come to know what are the different sampling points, or somebody who worked in the manufacturing, they also come to know what are the different sampling points. We'll work different in different areas, and we'll collect the samples, and we have to mention priorly in the LIMS what are the different sampling points which we are going to analyze. These are all comes under the planning phase, where you'll create all the specifications and workflows also. After you create all these things, then you will come to the registration part, where the sample, you register all the samples from the sample receipt. Then we'll store the sample, and you perform the registration in the LIMS itself. You can register it manual, like by from the computer itself, or you can do it a barcode labeling, and you can do a barcode scan also. Then the registered sample, you will, sorry, excuse me. Once you register the sample, you allocate the sample to some particular analyst or scientist, right, to do work on it in your lab. So you allocate the sample to do the job, like testing, analyzing, everything, right? After that, it is not only like sample, it here you can see that instrument calibration and maintenance also you can track, because that is also one of the activity that we can cover with the LIMS. You can make schedules, and you can automate the schedules by installing a scheduler. So it will allow you to perform the activity till the date that comes for the due. So on the date of due, it will not allow you to perform the activity. By automating the by the scheduler, you can manage your instruments also, so that it will help you in maintaining the lab in a
Hello.
good, following the good laboratory practices. After that, we'll go to the analysis.
Hello.
Yes, please. Yes. Yes, please. Am I audible?
Yeah. Actually, I need to understand this course. In future, you will be explaining using application or using screenshot. Oh, I know, please.
Sorry, I didn't get you. Your voice is breaking.
You will be explaining using the application, real-time application, like how the sample will be registered in the LIMS application, or explaining using the screenshot or slides. How is it?
Screenshots mostly. I cannot give the real-time application, show you the real-time application here, because it requires a specific license, which I'm currently not having. Let me check with the company connect also. Mostly it will be slides and
Okay.
the screenshots, so that you can easily navigate through. Okay, in the real-time application.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. And actually, I joined late. I don't know what covered in first 30 minutes, and for
Okay.
me, it's feeling it's going very fast. Actually, can you please
Okay.
explain a bit slow?
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm explaining bit slow, or I'm a
Uh,
fast.
yeah. Fast. I am feeling fast for me. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Fine.
Explain. Okay.
Anybody feeling the same, that I'm explaining little fast? Uh, Sorry, may I know your name? Sorry. Hello?
Shaukat.
Yeah,
Shaukat.
Shaukat. This
I
is
joined late actually. First 30
okay.
minutes didn't join. Yeah.
Okay, fine. It is a demo session only. Mostly I did cover much actually. I just explain you what are the modules that I'm going to take in this course. There will be 12 modules that I'm going to take you through this course. I explained it. I explained
Okay.
that, and we have gone through the brief history about the LIMS, how it has been evolved through the decades, and how we are currently using it. Okay, and here
Okay.
now I'm explaining you how the LIMS works in the laboratory
Okay.
and
Is
why
this
it is
recorded?
required in
This
the
session?
regulator. Yeah, it is a
Is this
recorded sessions. You can,
recorded?
yeah, it is being recorded, and you can go through the recorded session. After this,
Okay.
it will be available. Okay, it will be given
Okay.
in
Thanks.
the Teams. Sorry,
Okay.
WhatsApp,
Thanks.
not in Teams, in the WhatsApp. You can get it in the WhatsApp group.
Okay.
Okay. It is a demo session. Don't worry. I'll take you through the details in detail of each module in the coming sessions. Since it is only the 1 hour session, I'm just briefing you what actually LIMS and how it works in your lab. Okay?
Yeah. Okay. Sure.
Yeah. So where are we? I think we are at analysis, right? So yeah, after the job allocation to your responsible person, then they'll do the analysis. They'll generate the results, and then they'll create some calculations, and they'll create some inventory, right? After that, you need to validate whether your generated results are valid or not, whether all your instruments are properly calibrated or maintained or not. You need to validate. After that, it goes to the QA. The QA will approve or reject the test that you performed based on the checks. Like they will review whether it is in the control limit, the result that you got are in the control limits or not, whether the sample that you received is appropriate or not. They will review everything, and they'll approve if everything is in compliant, or they will reject if there is something uh, deviated from the control limit. Then goes for the report preparation, where you will generate the reports, or the invoice or the quotations, or you will generate COS and everything here. This is how a normal, this is a simple workflow. There will be different workflows also based on your business requirement in your lab. Then
Madam,
how
what
to
is
choose
COA? Can you please explain a little?
certificate
COA
of
means?
analysis. Certificate of
Okay. It's
analysis.
the result, right?
Sorry,
Is it the
there is a
total result that we are talking about?
yeah, because
Result.
yeah. I'll let you know, because there are there are so many for a sample, for example, there will be so many tests, right? For suppose normally I'm telling you give a blood sample, right? You give a blood sample, right? Then for that, in that blood sample, you will see when you get a report, there will be so many tests, right? Am I right or not? There will be your hemoglobin content. There
Yes.
will be your other things like your WBC content, everything, right? For each test, there will be a limit. Like your for each test, there will be a limit, and within that limit, your result should be there. Otherwise, that you come to know that there is something lacking in that. Am I right or not? Likewise, in the pharmaceutical industry or the clinical industry, if you see that particularly in the pharmaceutical industry, so we'll generate after the batch analysis, after the approval of the QA, we'll generate the certificate of analysis called, which shows everything what the sample has how the sample has, and what quantities it has, and how the sample is. Like for example, appearance, it has like you see the sample appearance. For example, I'm taking the blood example itself. If you see the blood appearance, what you'll see, it should be in the reddish color, right? Reddish to reddish brown color. Am I right or not? If it is in another color, then is it passing the specification, that the color specification? No, right? You won't expect it. You expect it to be in the red color. Likewise, the sample that you actually get in your laboratory also has a different specification. required by the regulatory agencies. Okay, that sample has to go through all the tests, and all the tests should be in the specified limits. If that sample pass all the test and all the test results are within the specified limits, then the COA will be prepared, which is we called as certificate of analysis. We certify that the sample has been gone through all the analysis and it is meeting the required specifications, and it will be approved by the QA and then will be released to the external market, or to the responsible person, or to the particular vendor who is going to buy your product. Am I clear on this? Did you get what is COA?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
So this is like how you choose the LIMS vendor, because in market there are so many vendors like Thermo Fisher, LabVantage, Labware, Caliber, Star LIMS, right? So out of this, how you choose the vendor? That I'll explain you in the coming sessions in detail, but I'll go through this one as on the superficial way. So choosing the system, how you choose your LIMS, like there are two responsibilities here, like client responsibility. In the client responsibility, what we have, the requirement specification. In reality, every job is unique and has their own types of tests, types of samples, set of instruments, analytical methods, and specification. Evaluate labs existing LIMS capabilities. First, you need to evaluate what is your requirement, how you are going to operate, what is your workflow you need to assess, and how far you can use the laboratory information management system you need to assess first. Then in order to get a workable LIMS system, a lot of time has to be spent on implementing the master data, also called template data. I told you earlier, because first to register the sample we need to plan. In the planning phase we need to create all the master data. In the master data we need to spend a lot of time, so that you can create all your workflows to automate the lab. Then comes the system validation and maintenance. After that, interfacing capabilities, how it is going to interface with other systems we need to assess, because already your lab or your organization might be having different instruments or equipments already placed into the your systems, but how far they are able to interface with the LIMS you need to assess, because the older system may not be capable to interface with the LIMS. There is a certain requirements which you can get the information from the instrument suppliers also. They will tell you whether the particular instrument that you have already purchased has the capability to integrate with the LIMS or not. After that, we choose that client responsibility, like regulatory compliance and accreditation status also, whether they are compliant with HIPAA, CLIA, ISO 15189, all these accreditation, whether they have or not, we need to see. Then we also see for the 21 CFR Part 11 HL7. These are the regulatory compliance requirements, regulatory guidelines which LIMS has to that LIMS system has to comply. The LIMS supplier has also need to comply with for the development, and then supplying to the clients. Then confidentiality and data integrity protection, whether the LIMS has the developed LIMS from the particular vendor has this confidentiality, is it capable of maintaining the confidentiality or data integrity, or is there or not, we need to determines lab willingness and ability to meet current and future client needs, because we need to determine whether the particular lab is willing to adopt this LIMS or not, and what are their current requirements, and what are they going to expect in the future from the LIMS, we need to assess first. And then we'll choose a system like web-based LIMS and web-enabled LIMS. In detail, I'll take you through this in the coming session also. Like there are two different systems, like web-based LIMS and web-enabled LIMS. Web-based LIMS is 100% web-based application requiring no installation of software on the client side. Here we will not install any software on the client side, because on the site there will not be any LIMS. Everything will be taken care of by the supplier. Like for example, if you go with the Labware LIMS, Labware team itself, they take all the responsibilities from the LIMS. They only install it on your PC so that you can use it. You need not to install it and validate it. All the validation, everything will be taken care of by the supplier itself. All functions of the laboratory information system can be accessed through an internet browser. This reduces the maintenance cost of the LIMS since all the data and functions are stored in the server. You understand, right? There, something like I can explain you in the short. Like there are two systems. One is server based. One is uh, client based. In the client based system, you have to install all the requirements which are required to install the LIMS, like from the hardware. Uh, all the hardware which is required for like your routers, your PCs, the Windows system, Windows version, what version it requires, everything you need to uh, take from the information you have to take from the supplier, and then you need to maintain in your lab, in your organization, and then you will install the LIMS which is specifically for your organization, maintained in the organization itself. But if you go for the web-based LIMS, it will be installed in the server. All the uh, all the maintenance cost, all the functionalities, all the what you say, like validation part, all the installation part, everything will be taken care of by the vendor itself. Like for suppose labware, if you choose a labware on web based version, labware will take all the responsibilities. They will they will install software directly into the server, and they will manage it. The performance of the LIMS depends on the server, which can be upgraded as per the business requirements. In the web-based LIMS, the LIMS will the LIMS performance is dependent on the server. That according to the business requirements, you can upgrade your server also. The LIMS with flexibility, adaptability, ease of evolution and support, and the system speed will most benefit the laboratory, because to benefit from the LIMS, you need to have a good planning. You need to understand the needs of the lab. You need to understand how you are going to automate your workflows, how you are going to create your master data. After that, you can easily navigate through the LIMS, and you can get the most of the benefits from the LIMS. So these are the general awareness, where I told you like different modules. We have different environments while validating and developing the LIMS. So if you see this, LIMS is coming under category 4 as per GAM5. Why? Because it is configured for the industries for their intended use. Does anybody know anything about the GAM5 and what are the categories that we have under GAM5?
Good automated manufacturing practices version 5,
Yes.
related to validation, risk based approach for CSV, computer system validation.
Yeah. Okay. Good. And what are the categories that we have?
Category 1, category 3, category 4 and 5.
Okay. What is category 4 then?
It is an configured.
Yeah, configured protest. You are right. Yes, you are absolutely right. So we have category 1, category 3, category 4, category 5. So LIMS comes under category 4 as per GAMP if it is only configured. But at some instances, if your lab is have different workflows and your requirements are different, then it could be category 5 also if you develop entirely from scratch. If you want your own LIMS and you develop it as per your requirement, then it will be category 5 because it is custom made. But most of the labs go for the configured LIMS only, because all the features which are required for a smooth operation of the lab are already implemented in that LIMS. Generally, LIMS contain 4 different types of environment, which include development environment, static environment, validation or quality environment, production environment. What is development environment? Development environment where we code, testing and configuring the software based on the URS. You give your requirements, right? The first thing that from the client responsibility is like providing the user requirements. What are the requirements that you have? you will provide it to the developer so that they will develop and they test and configure the software. You know, right, what is URS? User requirement specifications. I hope you are aware of it.
Yes, yes.
Okay. After that, we have a static environment where creation of master data like analysis, product sample plan, item code, instrument and inventory data, etc. We will create all these things in the static environment. Before using and before validating it, we will create all the master data required for the analysis, product or sample plan. And then we have validation or quality environment where you validate or test all the module functionalities like operational functionalities which are required for the operation of the LIMS in your lab based on the approved URS and the functional risk assessment by using approved test protocols and test scripts where you test the entire functionalities of the LIMS which are specified in the URS, whether it is meeting as per the URS, whether it is actually functioning as per the approved URS or not, you will test in the validation or quality environment. Okay. After the completion of the validation, the LIMS has then comes into the production environment where this is called as an end user environment. After successful completion of the quality testing, end user will perform the PQ by supporting from the LIMS core team, which is called as user accepting testing also. Okay, LIMS is having different types of modules based on the quality lab business process, which includes lot management, inventory management, instrument management, stability management, environmental monitoring, micro inventory management. Apart from this, you might have other modules also based on the requirement of your business functions. Sorry. One second. Sorry for the disturbance. Okay. Okay. So there will be different modules like lot management, inventory management, instrument management, where stability management, environmental monitoring, micro inventory management. Each module has each functionalities, and it is being kept in the LIMS for the particular operation to perform in that. Okay, lot management means it will handle the data of raw material, packaging material, in process materials, or whatever the samples that you receive into your lab for the lot creation and to generate COA and release of the lot. You will manage all the lot information or the sample information in the lot management. And then comes the inventory management, where you will manage all the reagents or the chemicals that you receive or the solutions that you prepare in your lab to test the raw materials or the packaging materials or the samples that you receive into your lab. You will require so many reagents and chemicals, right? So in the inventory management, you will maintain all the data that you receive, that you purchase from the suppliers, right? All these chemicals, reagents and everything. So instead of manually maintaining it in the Excel sheet, you will maintain everything in the inventory management. The registration of the new inventories and qualifying of those for routine usage in the laboratory workflow. You will register all the chemical standards, primary standards, working standards, volumetric solutions, whatever that you purchase for the purpose of analysis to use it in the analysis of the sample, you will register into the inventory management. After that comes the instrument management. As I already told you, like you can manage your calibration schedule, preventive maintenance schedule, everything into this instrument management, and then you can specify your schedule frequency also in this so that it will allow you to use the instrument for the particular time, and after that it will not allow you to use it, will block the instrument. And then comes the stability management. Here you can create and approval of the stability study protocols, stability plannings, and how you log the samples. We have different stability zones. How you can manage all these samples. You can manage all this data, all the information of the stability sample into the stability management. Then comes the environmental monitoring. Your microbiology people used to do this environmental monitoring. What's the schedules that allocating and the sampling, analyzing, everything we'll manage in the environmental monitoring module. And then comes the, because in the normal pharmaceutical lab, we have two sections. Like if you see, like there will be a normal chemical section and the microbiology section. The microbiology section will have different workflows and different criteria, and their guidelines are also different. So there, how they manage their samples and how they will analyze their samples will be covered in this environmental monitoring and the micro inventory management. Micro inventory management is nothing but like how the chemical people will receive chemicals, reagents, and volumetric solutions, everything, right? For the micro people, they are going to have like media, cultures, everything, and they will manage all the media and cultures required for the microbiology or environmental testing in this micro inventory management. Then comes the master data management. So here I'll take another 5 more minutes to complete this demo, if it is okay for you. It is already 10:04. I'll take another 5 more minutes. Is it okay?
Okay.
Yeah. Then comes to the master data management. So master data contains analysis, products, sample plan, item code, instrument, inventories, suppliers, unit, process units, and schedule, etc. As I already showed in the previous screens. So if you see that master data, it contains all this information. Once you have this data, then only you can actually register the sample properly. Then only you will can take the sample into your lab and analyze. Once you have a good master data, each and every master data object should be validated in validation environment, and it shall be migrated to production environment by using data migration procedure. Okay, before using, before as I show you, in the validation environment, we'll test everything, because we'll create master data. Whether actually the created master data is working as per the intended use or not, we need to validate it, and then only we'll transfer it in the production environment. Okay. Then we have to do this all these activities, we require people, and those people should be of different levels. So if you see, there are so many roles in the LIMS. It is these are the typical roles that we are going to have in the LIMS, like analyst, supervisor, reviewer, approver, inventory manager, system administrator. You might be having different roles also according to your business requirements. Okay, few people call it as managers, for example. QC supervisor, in place of QC supervisor, you can be a QC manager also. It's all depend. The roles will be dependent on the your local requirements, your local SOPs, your how your actual QC lab or the clinical lab is actually working. It depends on that. You can create n number of roles in the LIMS, and you can actually use them and test them also. Then what are the challenges in the LIMS? For the implementation of the LIMS, the main challenge is assessing the cost. Is dependent on the time spent on implementation. Implementation time in turn depends on the number of instrument, test, laboratories, etc. that shall be implemented. As I told you, so from the manual paper-based system to the LIMS system, if you want to upgrade, it involves not only the cost but the time also, because you need to assess at what percent you are going to use, and how what percent you are willing to use the LIMS. You need to assess. For this assessment, it will take time. It is time consuming also, and it will cost also, because as I told you, these are the licensed products. It will not be freely available into the market. Every client has to purchase this LIMS modules according to the requirements, and that shall be installed, and then that should be validated, and then that should be tested, and then that should be released into the production environment. For this, until the release into the production environment, you cannot actually use this LIMS for the registration of the sample. Okay, so to do all these activities, we require time. It is time consuming, and to do all these activities, we require money also. That is also cost. And this flow, this chart, you can actually see how initial cost is assessed. Okay. So the price of the LIMS actually is a lot higher than the stated price for purchase, implementation, and annual license cost. The monetary return of interest can be calculated and may or may not be positive. However, the real benefit of the LIMS is in the long-term value, added quality to the laboratory process and the products. So if you see this chart, you might think that, hurry, oh my God, this might be costing us very huge amounts of money, and it is taking a lot of time also. But once you implement the LIMS, it will give you the long term benefit instead of the short term benefits, because nowadays every auditor is asking us to digitalize your lab. Nobody is encouraging us to maintain our data on the paper, because the paper based records are not trustworthy. It is difficult to trace and it is hard to maintain the data integrity on that. So for the auditor also to keep your lab, uh, uh, they are asking us to why you are not actually having the advanced systems. If you have that, they come to know that if you have that capability of implementing the LIMS, they will definitely ask you why it is not actually you are not using that. It is not actually mandatorily asked by every auditor, but most of the laboratories are digitalizing their data just to reduce this data integrity issues, because that in turn cost a huge cost to them, because if they fail the audit. So uh, to make them safe from this failing the audits and then going for the re-audit, they are actually implementing these LIMS and maintaining the data with proper track and trace in their lab. So these are the LIMS risk components. Like 60% of IT projects are cancelled prior to implementation due to functional time and budget constraints. I told you actually just now that time and budget constraints will be a problem. So that's why 60% of the IT projects will be cancelled. And then due to lack of functional requirements clarity, they get be cancelled. Risk identified. No formal process in place to select and implement LIMS. Customization and integration requirements are underestimated while implementing the LIMS. Unrealistic schedule and budget times, because it takes at least 1.5 year to 2 years to implement the LIMS in your industry or in your organization. So if you are unrealistic while providing a timeline to your management and unrealistic in assessing the budget while implementing the LIMS, then that would be a risk for us to implement the LIMS. So you should be much aware of your timeline and the budget which is required for the LIMS implementation for the smooth project ongoing. Then comes the risk management plan not well established. So what if LIMS does not work in your environment? So we need to assess all these risk. What if it is for example, for instance, what you are going to do if the LIMS is in down? We need to assess all this risk and we need to implement a plan. If you cannot implement this plan, then you cannot run your lab in a smooth way. So lacking all these requirements will be a risk for implementation of the LIMS. So then comes the guidelines for the successful LIMS implementation. So first we need to segment and prioritize our requirements, and then according to your prioritization, we need to act. First comes this critical to work process. Priority 2 will be improve work process. Priority 3 will be nice to have. What are these and how it is going to work? How we come to know that these are critical, these are good to have, and these are nice to have. I'll explain you in detail in the coming sessions. Like priority wise, which are must, we should have that in place to to run the lab smoothly. We first implement those functionalities in the LIMS, and then comes, okay, now the lab is running okay, then but we want to improve the process a little further. For that we need certain requirements, right? So to build that requirements, we take it on the second priority and then we improve our work process. And the third one is nice to have. Even if it is not have, there is no harm. There is nothing is stopping. That thing is like a, blocking your process. Then, but still, if you have that functionality, you feel it is nice to have in your lab. If there is any such requirements, then we'll take it on the priority 3. Likewise, we'll develop all the functionality requirements and then we'll implement the LIMS. A good information management system will ensure all data, the final product of the laboratory, is well managed, ensure confidentiality and privacy of patient information. As I told you, it is everything will be confidentially managed in the LIMS by
Hello, madam. What happened?
Hello.
Hello.
Maybe screen is off. Madam is gone.
Really?
Maybe something happened.
I don't know. Hello, madam. Hello. अभी कौन है अभी अकबरी
Not
Hello.
aware. I Miss Frau. Uh,
Bharati. What happened, Porgan? Shruti, Bharati, Abhijit, Abhi Akbari, Madhavi, Rupesh, Shalini, Ruchita, Subramanyam.
I'm so sorry. I just lost the connection. I'm so sorry for this. Am I audible?
yeah, right now, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Sorry, so sorry. I just lost the
No.
connection. Okay. So these are the key messages. Like it only like where it will maintain the
Madam, screen
confidentiality.
is not visible.
Oh,
Screen.
okay.
Thank
Not
you.
visible. Give me a second, okay?
Sure.
I'm little taking your time today just to give you the full demo. Give me a second. I'm sharing my screen. Is it visible now?
Yes, madam.
Yes, madam.
Okay.
Yes, madam.
Yeah. So the LIMS is LIMS will maintain the confidentiality and the privacy of the patient information. So it is very much important nowadays because keeping the confidentiality of the information of the patients is very much required. And then incorporation of all the laboratory business processes as a part of the system. So you can incorporate all the laboratory process data in your system and can manage it efficiently and ensure the accessibility, accuracy, timeliness, and security of the data. So since the beginning, we are discussing on this, like it is the best system to maintain your data accurately, and then you can actually get the data in a very limited time. immediately. In fact, within a single click, you can get all the data, and all the security will be managed. We can maintain for the management of the data. And there comes the streamline sample tracking and sample workflow in the clinical laboratory. You can streamline all the sample tracking from where the sample was collected, by whom it was collected, and which bottle it is collected. And then you can, after that, when it was submitted to the lab, and after that, how the sample has been analyzed, everything you can streamline by using this LIMS system in your lab. So this is the basic workflow that I have already explained to you in the earlier slide, like how the sample has been will be received into your system, how it will be resisted, then how the sample will be prepared for the analysis. Then after preparation of the sample, how the sample will be allocated for the analysis, the work allocation, like for instruments and for the analyst or the scientist, how the work will be allocated. Then after the work calculation, then the responsible person, either analyst or the scientist, will do the testing, and they'll generate some the data and the results. Once the result has been generated, then the results should be validated, like whether it is compliant with the control limits or the specifications or not, whether it is within the requirements or not. They will see, they will validate. If they are within the requirements, then they go for the approval. If they are not in the within the requirements or the specification, then they again go for the retesting. And they again they allocate the they will again retest the samples and reanalyze the samples, and then again they generate the data. After that, they will approve. Sorry. After that, they will approve the data, and then they will generate the COA by like I told you, like certificate of analysis or report that the sample has been successfully gone through all the test, and then passed the requirements and other specifications. Then they archive all the data in the LIMS. Then these are the different functionalities that we have for the LIMS. Like five, it is divided into 5 laboratory processing phases, like the reception and the logging, the assignment, scheduling, and tracking of the sample, and with the associated analytical workload. And the third comes the processing and quality control associated with the sample, and the utilized equipment and the inventory. The storage of the data associated with the sample analysis. Fifth comes the inspection, approval, and compilation of the sample data for reporting and the further analysis. Like I'm just reading through the slide. I know that because we have already covered all these functionalities in the earlier slides. Just to give you the little more information, I'm just taking you through these slides. Because if you see, I have explained you about the audit management. I have explained you of the barcode reading, how this document will be managed, and how the instruments and the will be managed, the calculation and the maintenance frequencies are managed in the LIMS. Haven't I explained to you in the earlier slides? I explained it, right? Did you get?
Yeah.
Yeah. So these are the advantages and disadvantages of the LIMS. Like we already discussed, like so LIMS will be advantages for, it is very fast report access and queries, reduction in paperwork, improved data quality, improved operational efficiency, simple to use Excel like formulas, because all the formulas will be already created in the master data and they will be validated. So it will be very simple to use those formulas. You just need to track, you just need to click and then enter your result in that. For that, whether it is pass or fail also, it will only let you know, because you have already created all the control limits also. So increased productivity, it will increase your productivity because it will reduce your errors, it will reduce the time for generating the paper records. It will create each and every workflow in this smooth way, so there will not be any hassles in the planning also. So it will automatically increase your productivity gains, like instrument interfacing and auto reporting. If you interface with other instruments like HPLC, like balances, it will again, that will be a advantage for us, and it will only generate the reports without any manual report generation, which again creates so many errors. It will avoid all these things, and it again increase the productivity. Integration with other departments and business functions, like as you see, like if you integrate the QC functions with the QA functions also, so you can integrate all the functionalities with other department also. And then reduce transcription errors. Earlier you need to transcribe from the paper. If you generate the again a certificate, then you need to transcribe these results from the paper to the certificate, and then you need to take a printout, which may cause you producing a transcription errors. We can avoid everything by implementing these LIMS. Increase throughput, avoid duplications. Return of investment in typically within 1 year. If you invest, as you said, as I earlier said, cost is one of the constraint for implementing the LIMS, but if you invest, it will give you a long-term result. So and it will return your investment within a year by managing your all the data in a proper manner. So again, out of all these advantages, we have few disadvantages also. But for me, if you see, the training and the cost is not actually a disadvantage, because as if you implement something new into your system, the training is mandatory. Otherwise, there is no use of implementing the system. Am I right or not? Training personnel
Right,
will
madam.
training will again enhance the capability of the individuals who is working in your organization, right? They
Yes.
will it will enhance their technical knowledge, it will enhance their capabilities. So in a certain way, training is not a disadvantage, but if you consider the timing, yes, because it takes time, which may or may not the company is willing to give you, because everybody wants to make it in a fast way. The required time may not be available, and if people are, because it takes people to involve, they have to involve, they have to test it, they have to validate it, right? So for that, they require time, and that time your company may not be able to provide. There the disadvantages come. Then comes to the cost. Purchase and maintenance are the most expensive parts of the computerized system, and the cost can be prohibitive in some settings. As I told you, you need to purchase the license, you need to renew it annually, you need to maintain it, and you need to host it, everything. These requires a cost, which few companies may not be able to provide you for the implementation of the LIMS. Then physical restrictions. The need for backup system. Once if it is your LIMS is not working, what is the backup plan? Do you have any backup plan? Then how you are going to manage the information? All computer information must be carefully backup. That's why there will be periodic backups, and then your IT system will be taking care of these backups, and they will because if it is server based, all the backup, you can automate your backup process also. With that, you can keep your information even though the LIMS is not working. And if the LIMS is not working, what you are going to do? All your information with which is currently stored in the LIMS is with you or not? You need to see. For that, you need to do the periodic backups. You need to schedule the backups, and you need to take up all the information and store it. Then loss of data due to damage, disk or system crash cannot be tolerated, and the backup system will be critical. So these are the disadvantages of the LIMS. And then this conclusion. A computerized system for laboratory data is often called a laboratory information management system, and is referred to the by acronym like LIMS or LAS. We call it as laboratory information management system or laboratory information system. The use of a computerized system is becoming more common in laboratories around the world. Why? Because nowadays everything is digitalizing. Everything is digitalizing. Likewise, all the data in your lab should be digitalized to give you a good workflow, and to manage your workflows in an efficient way, and to increase your productivity. That's why the LIMS is very much important. An appropriately designed and installed LIMS brings accuracy and accessibility to the flow of the samples and data in the clinical laboratory. So if you implement the LIMS according to your requirements and according to the workflow that your lab has, it will give you the good accuracy and accessibility of the flow of the samples. And you need not to search for the persons who is handling the sample, who is preparing the sample, with whom the sample is, whether it is analyzed or not. You need not to go and ask. With a simple click, you can see with whom the sample is, who is analyzing, on which instrument it is allocated. You can easily see everything in a transparent manner in the LIMS. Okay. These are the benefits, and this is the brief introduction of the limbs that we can cover in this session. If you have any doubts, I know that I have taken your time a little extra. Still, if you have any doubts, you can ask me now.
Madam, you mentioned in the disadvantages,
Yeah.
physical restrictions means. Can you please elaborate it? Physical restrictions.
Physical restrictions and the disadvantages.
Mm.
Like, for example, like, physical restrictions in the sense few persons may access, right? Few persons only can access the limbs, other persons cannot access it. And moreover, like, if you see, uh, few companies will not allow, few companies will allow even in their mobiles also you can install if you have that license. But few companies will not allow it, because you can install the limbs in your mobile and you can see whether the sample has been analyzed. You can track whether it is gone or not. But few regulatory industries will not allow it to install in their personal phones or something, and it will restrict the usage to a certain environment only, to a certain organization or to a certain lab itself. It will not allow it to use in the other areas. That is one of the concern that we have. Any other questions?
Okay. In the I think in the first slide, can you please brought that one?
First slide.
Yes, madam.
You mean
I think second one. Ah, yes, it's here only.
this one?
No, previous.
Oh, sorry. This one?
Ah, yes, madam. Here,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
field sample barcoding. I think this one is we are listening first time via and location ID via GPS is possible. Field sample.
Yeah. I
How?
explained this. I already explained in this. For example, you go for a sample collection, right?
Yes.
You go for a sample collection and you barcode it.
Yes.
And we can use, you can scan it by using this LIMS. There is a functionality in the LIMS that you can scan the barcoding. And you can with the creation of the master data, but because you know what is your requirement, right? You can actually, by barcoding, you can actually track the location. If you enable this GPS, via GPS possible. If you enable this GPS in the LIMS, it will allow you to know in which location at what time the sample has been taken, and the sample has been collected. You can track and trace the sample.
Is it implemented in any organizations like this? The location ID via GPS is for.
Yes.
Are we using in this in the pharmaceutical
Mostly,
industry?
yeah, no. In the pharmaceutical industry, no, because your samples will be generated from, most of the samples will be generated in your laboratory, in your organization itself, right? Your manufacturing will give you the sample. There itself, you will register the sample while you receive it from the receive it to the QC, right? In pharmaceutical industry, it may not be up, they may not be using, but in other industries like, clinical industries, and then we have other industries which use LIMS. They use this barcoding mostly. In pharma also you can use barcoding, but before that you need to know, like, that barcoding, that you select sample, right, for that particular sample, that you need to implement that barcoding procedure first. So which sample will have this barcoding facility, which samples you receive, and then how they can actually they will receive it into the laboratory. You need to have this workflow first. If you implement that, then actually this is something like, for example, I can put you this, like, what usually you do is, like, your manufacturing will send you the sample to QC, right, with on a manual paper, like this is the sample, this is the name of the sample, this is the date when it is manufactured, this is the date it is going to expire. And the same way you will register in your LIMS, right? So this is the sample. In the lot management, you will register like this is the sample XYZ. It is manufactured in so and so date. It is going to expire in the so and so date. Instead of manually entering into the system on your PC, there will be a barcode reader which is integrated with your LIMS. If you connect, if you scan this, if you paste the barcoding on that sample, if you scan this barcode with your barcode reader which is integrated with the LIMS, it will fetch all the data that the barcode is holding, and it will generate the data in the lot management. This is how it works in the pharma. But this GPS and everything that might be applicable for the other industries. But I think as far as I know, pharma is not using that GPS. Very few
Yeah.
maybe. So sophisticated industries might be using that.
Yes.
Okay. Any other questions?
Uh, in this LIMS training, are you going to cover how many modules? Actually, how many modules are there in the LIMS? All those you will cover, or
Yeah, we'll cover. We'll cover all the modules that normally a lab used to have. Everything. Like I already showed you, like there is a lot management, there is inventory management, there is environmental monitoring, there is a micro inventory management, there is a stability. All these I will cover. So these are the basic modules that usually any LIMS can have. Apart from this, if your business requirement is something expecting something another modules, then you need to develop that module and then you will need to incorporate in that LIMS. But mostly these are the not basic modules that any pharma industry or the clinical industry will have. That all the modules we are going to cover in this course.
and um, see, madam, this is a very complicated module in pharma and LIMS, and you're navigating, as you said, you're navigating these explanation through screenshots. So I
Yeah.
think it is very hard to learn the concepts which you are teaching through this presentation
Mhm.
without live
Live software.
interaction with application.
Okay.
So
Uh, Actually, whatever the slides that I'm going to take you will be the screenshots or something that will represent the live software itself. Okay, we are going to take those screenshots or the presentations which will represent the live software itself. The basic interface, because the interface will be the same. You may customize your interface, but normally the interface of the LIMS will be more or less similar. So if you go through that screens, then you will easily navigate through the LIMS in the live also.
Madam, in product filings, this LIMS is used, madam. In
Sorry, in
product
which?
filing,
In
product
product
filing in
filing.
pharmacy.
In regulatory, you mean?
Yes, madam.
Yeah. See, this is like regulatory might use some other software, but if you integrate, if there is a possibility to integrate, that software has a possibility to integrate it with LIMS, then yes, actually they can use it. But the softwares that what regulatory is using should have this functionality. This that it should be capable of integrating with the LIMS also. If that software, because I don't know what software that they are using, that regulatory people,
Yes.
what in which software they are submitting their data to the regulatory bodies. If that software has a capability to integrate with LIMS, I say of course, but mostly no, because all the data will be managed in the system. These are the quality system, so it will be integrated mostly with the SAP. Through the SAP, they can get the information. But yeah, maybe if that regulatory software has that functionality to integrate with the LIMS, yes, we can use.
Okay. Okay.
And I have a one question. Every pharma, yeah, every pharma company like LIMS software using na other software also.
For laboratory, you are like you are asking me like whether it is
Pharma.
only LIMS or is there any other software that we can
Yeah,
manage the data? You are
yeah, yeah,
asking?
yeah.
Yes, mostly it is LIMS only. Few data will be covered with the SAP, but again the SAP will be integrated with LIMS again. This is particularly, this LIMS mostly use it in the quality control laboratory, clinical laboratories like pharmacovigilance, you know, right? You might have heard about it, right? Clinical trial. We use this software because there will be huge lots of data that you cannot track and trace immediately, and you cannot manage the operations of your lab when you have huge data, right? Because there will be multiple samplings coming into the lab, multiple analysis happening into your lab. You use multiple instruments to analyze these samples. So you cannot track it through simple Excels. You cannot track it to simple records. So to manage all this data, you need to have a software to make your lab in a keep your lab in a productive way. For that, this LIMS is essential. Yes, there might be different LIMS, like I have showed you in the slides, like there will be labware LIMS, there will be lab on trade LIMS, but more or less all they function in the same way.
Okay.
Yeah. Any
Madam,
other questions?
you explained this, I think some environments. Can you please recall that one? Static environment. You said I'm not understand what it meant for actually.
Yeah, I'll explain you about all these environments in the coming sessions in a clear way. And this is the brief introduction, so I didn't explain you in deep, but I'll take you through the slide. Static environment. This is the environment where you create the master data. Okay.
For what purpose? Because it is in the development after quality is not moved, and static environment is what way it is beneficial to the persons.
Okay. Okay, I understand your dot. Static environment is where you create your master data. So master data is something like you put all the like for example, I say if you see here there is an item code. You need to generate that item code in the LIMS. Okay. First there is a process called master data creation. According to your requirements, you know what are the samples that you are going to get. You know what are the tests that you are going to perform, right? You know what are the chemicals and reagents you are going to receive. There will be liquids, there will be solids, there will be different types of instruments, there will be HPLC, balances, there will be different items that you will receive into the lab, right? So all this data first you need to create. As a master data, you need to create. You will be analyzing, you will be weighing some sample. There will be you will weigh in samples in kilograms, you will weigh in sample in grams, you will in mgs, milligrams, right? So all these units you need to generate. You actually not generate the value, but the something like you call it as a metadata to required for the analysis. You will generate everything, all the details. You will create all the data first, then only then only you will able to perform the testing further, right? Like how you will validate your LIMS without having any data. You need to validate it, right? For in validation you will test it. To test it, you must have some data, right, on your system.
Yes.
You cannot validate a empty software which doesn't have any information. And mostly this LIMS is used for the laboratory information management. So whatever the information that is required for the laboratory, first you will create in the master data and you will test it in the validation environment. So for the creation of the master data, we create it in the static environment. This is like an environment where you will not use it. You will not use this LIMS. After the development, we will move it to the static environment and we will create this master data for the further validation.
Okay.
Ma'am, my background is a laboratory technician, so I don't know about the LIMS software and I didn't use it. It's a normal blood collection laboratory. I work there.
You don't
So,
know?
yeah, about LIMS, but uh,
Okay.
I didn't show you because
You don't
we
know about
didn't use
LIMS.
it. Yeah, because of we didn't use it in a laboratory, blood collection laboratory.
Sorry, I didn't get your point. Could you please repeat it again?
Yeah, my question is the normal laboratory, like blood collection laboratory,
Hmm.
they will be not use it, na?
Yeah, they can use it. Actually, they can use it to manage their samples. Yeah, yes, they can.
Okay.
Diagnostic center, more or less, you are talking about a diagnostic center, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they can use it, but see, again, it depends on the cost. What
Okay.
is your organization or the lab is willing to implement a LIMS or not? It depends on your decisions.
Okay.
Yeah,
Mm,
yeah.
okay.
But
Thank
actually,
you.
it uses the diagnostic centers or the clinical labs. They'll use LIMS to manage their samples. If it is a huge diagnostic center, yes, they definitely use it, because otherwise they will not be able to track and trace their samples and their results, right?
Mm-hmm.
At the end, they need to deliver it to the patient.
Patient. Okay.
Yeah, because that's why the patient information, everything has to be very confidential
Yeah.
while analyzing. That's why they'll use LIMS, definitely.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
If there are no questions, then we'll wind up this demo session and meet you tomorrow.
Okay.
Any other
Thank you.
questions? Madhavi, Vinay.
We are good.
Oh, no.
Okay.
And tomorrow, what time is it?
Uh, we'll let you know. You will get a message in the WhatsApp group.
Okay.
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 Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you,
Bye
madam.
bye.